Hello everyone, Golden Nova here. I was just about ready to wrap up another productive day when I saw the news that there was a new archetype being revealed for, I assume the, Legacy of Destruction, the new pack with all the Yugi stuff. Now, I missed out on that last one because, unfortunately, I was busy, so I relished the opportunity to talk about Brightfleet Dragions. They're referencing Trident Dragion, which seems very goofy, and I'm not sure if that'll actually go anywhere, but it is a giant dragon with multiple beams of multicolored fire coming out of their mouths, and, well, that is kind of Trident Dragion's whole thing, so we'll see if we're making a callback to that ridiculous older card. First up, we have Bestowed Dragon Hydra. Level 3 Fire Dragon monster, 1700 attack, 1000 defense. You can only use the first effect of this card once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can take a Brightfleet spell or trap card from your deck and either add it to your hand or set it. 2, you take no battle damage from battles involving your Fire Dragon monsters. And third, once per turn, during the battle phase, you can, as a quick effect, immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using this card you control. Okay, so it's not a tuner itself, but this is already starting to be a bit of a problem right off the bat. So, it gets you a card on summon, what doesn't these days? If we do it during our opponent's turn, we can set it so we can make the trap cards live the next turn. That's the only reason I would think you'd want to set it, because otherwise if you're adding it to hand, you can just choose to set the spell or trap card anyway. So maybe we have some special summoning during both players' turn stuff going on. The battle damage protection is nice. Now this says during the battle phase. Not your opponent's battle phase, a lot of them say that. The battle phase. So it can be during your opponent's battle phase, but unless your synchro monsters have a restriction that keep them from being summoned in attack position or something else, this does mean we are getting additional battles out of those monsters. And that kind of stuff is goofy. If cards like El Shaddai Fusion have taught us anything, it's that if we put a summoning method at quick speed and we allow it to be used during the battle phase, we will be doing a lot of damage. So, interesting startup. Also, it searches a Brightfleet, but this is a Bestowed Dragon. Not sure if that's a translation thing, or if it's going to be a multi-archetype series of cards. Okay, second, Bestowed Dragon Fodra. Level 3 Fire Dragon, 1600 attack, 1000 defense. Also not a tuner, and I guess it's pretty clear that these are a Fire Dragon archetype. You can only use the first effect of this card once per turn if this card is normal or special summoned, or at the start of the damage step, if a monster battles, you can target a level 4 or lower Fire Dragon monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Just if a monster battles, that's wild. So this is a free revival every turn. And we already have something that does quick syncing. This is, your Fire Dragon monsters can't be controlled by battle. Okay. Third, once per turn during the battle phase, you can immediately quick effect after this effect resolves synchro summon using this card control. Yeah, okay, so that's a big theme. That's not something special to Hydra. They might all do the quick battle phase syncing. This one keeps them from being controlled by battle, which kind of goes very well with not taking any battle damage, and is a free revival every turn. I cannot imagine what Chudra could possibly be up to. Okay, this is level 4, and here's our tuner. Level 4 Fire Dragon tuner monster, 1500 attack, 1000 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card once per turn. 1, if you control a Fire Dragon, you can special summon this card from your hand. Neat. At the start of the damage step, if a monster battles, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Fire Dragon from your deck, except this card. And once per turn during the battle phase, you can't. So they all have the quick effect synchro summon. This one grabs you a spell or trap card. This one revives out of your graveyard on battle, but also on summon. And then when things battle at the start of the damage step, you get to summon something out of your deck. Out. Okay, so what I'm seeing here already is that you could just normal Chudra, just by itself, nothing else, attack. At the start of the damage step, you special summon Fodra. Fodra keeps your Fire Dragons from being destroyed by battle, so now your Chudra is going to be safe. Exit the damage step, quick sync them together, make a level 7. Oh, and of course this was normal or special summon, so, this has the potential to special summon one of your Fire Dragons from the graveyard if you already have one. Neat, very neat. Okay, so this is already shaping up to be a very strong core of cards. Brightfleet, Rise Dragon, Bident Dragion, not Trident Dragion. Okay, so maybe it is involving Trident Dragion. We'll have to look at that in just a second, just to see where we're at on that one. You can only use the first effect of this card once per turn. You can only use the second effect once per duel. Level 7, it is also a tuner, a level 7 Dragon Synchro Tuner monster, 2600 attack, 2000 defense. If this card is Synchro Summoned, you can target a Fire Dragon monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Dragon monsters. Wow. Finally, a restriction, and for the rest of the turn, too. If 3 or more attacks have been declared this turn as a quick effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, then you can destroy a spell or trap card on the field. So as a reminder, that is the once per duel effect. If we get to 3 attacks, this comes out for free, and then is also a MST, just for funsies. Okay, so in the example that we just talked about, we do Chudra into Fadra. Fadra keeps it safe. We exit the damage step, use the quick sync of, I have to assume specifically Chudra, because this is already a tuner, unless there's something else showing up here. This is a tuner dragon and a non-tuner dragon as material, but nothing here hints that there's some other weird synchro shenanigans going on here. So we use Chudra's effect specifically, though I guess the quick sync effects aren't hard once per turns either, so it doesn't matter whose we use. We can use them as many times as we want once while they're on the field per turn. So whatever. We stick with that. We summon Rise Dragon Bident. Use its Synchro Summon effect. Get ourselves, I guess it'll depend on, once again, what the next, it looks like we have another Synchro coming up. Whatever its levels or the requirements are, we revive one of these two, and then we sync again. Holy. Oh no. Oh no, wait a sec. Okay, I'm starting to see something. Because 3 attacks, we attack with the Chudra. We could also attack with the Fadra, because it applies its can't be destroyed by battle to itself. Quick sync, get the Bident Dragon. If it attacks, and then we sync it away, that's a 3rd attack. So we can bring it back as another. Okay. Brightfleet Super Dragon Transcendent Dragion. Level 10 Fire Dragon Synchro Monster. 3000 attack, 3000 defense. Requires a Dragon Tuner and 1 or more non-tuner Dragon monsters as material. So you would bring back Rudra or Fadra, because 7 plus 3 is 10. Oh! In this case, you wouldn't even need to have activated Fadra's effect, like if you have nothing else in your graveyard, because now you're bringing it back, and so then Fadra can bring back Chudra again! Oh my god! Okay. You can only use the 3rd effect of this card once per duel. Oh, but the rest of them can be used willy-nilly. If this card is Synchro Summoned, you can change all monsters on the field to attack position. Okay. That's already pretty wacky, because there's a lot of things that summon cards to your opponent's field in defense position. This forces them to attack position. So just ignoring the fact that this gets rid of our opponent trying to hide behind defense position monsters, if we give them a monster and it gets them in a defense position as a counterbalance to it having low attack power, we get to ignore that. Cool. Second, all opponent's monsters must attack if able. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects during the... Okay, so this leads into being also a going first monster, right? Like, it has no protection so far before the battle phase, but if this is, for instance, quick synchro during the battle phase, for whatever reason, this makes your opponent attack with the monster they have on field, because they're now all going to be in attack position, and then they have nothing they can use to respond to, because they can't activate anything during the battle phase. This is better than an Armades. It just applies to everything. Okay, third. If 3 or more attacks were declared this turn as a quick effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, then destroy 1 card on the field. Okay, so Chudra attacks, summon Fadra. That finishes. They quick sync, they make the level 7. Level 7 brings back Fadra, which will bring back Chudra. So we have all of our material on board. Potentially attack with all 3 of those again. Quick sync with Fadra's effect. Make Transcendent Dragion. Attack with this. Activate our Synchro's effect in graveyard, because 3 or more attacks have been declared this turn. Special summon it gets to attack for 2600. Now, Next would be finding a way to get this off board, and thankfully so far, I wouldn't be surprised if we added this in the future, we don't have a level 2 tuner that can be synced with Transcendent Dragion to make a level 12 synchro, at which point we would then revive this with the zone effect popping another card on the board to attack for 3,000 more damage, but you never know, so keep an eye out for that one. Heck, we might even have just some other card that gets it into our graveyard, regardless of synchro summoning stuff. So this is already measuring up to be a ridiculous archetype. And we have 2 spells left. Okay, Overflowing Brightfleet Manor. These are the things that our first monster can search. You can only use the second effect of this card once per turn. While on the field, fire dragon monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's activated monster effects. Oh, activated effects, period, during your main phase 1. Oh, okay. So, the idea that you would get to interrupt them beforehand, before they got to the battle phase, never mind that. That's not happening. 2, during your main phase, you can add a bestowed dragon monster from your deck to your hand, then discard a card. Okay, so it's not a +1, thank goodness, but you do get to do this every turn, so you do get good card selection. And 3, if this card is destroyed during the battle phase, you can target a dragon synchro monster. Okay, so we have just added another wrinkle to that combo we were talking about earlier. This also starts all of it up. You play Overflowing Brightfleet Manor, you swap one of your cards out for, what was it, for Chudra. Do the whole thing as normal, then, when you summon out Bident Dragion, you can destroy a spell or trap card on the field. It does not say that your opponent controls, so you pop your own field spell during the battle phase, and now your 3,000 attack Transcendent Dragion is now a 6,000 attack Dragion. That is forcing all of our opponent's monsters into attack position. Good grief. Okay. Lastly is Brightfleet Opening. Quick play spell card. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. If this card was activated outside the battle phase, apply one of these effects. If it was activated during the battle phase, you can apply any of them in sequence. Add a level 4 Fire Dragon monster from your deck to your hand. Special summon a level 4, or any Fire Dragon, my apologies, monster from your hand. Oh, Lord. So there's almost never a reason to activate this except during the battle phase. I suppose if you are going first and you set this and your opponent goes to out it, you only get one of them, but otherwise you just wait for the battle phase, attack, and then apply them in sequence. Oh, that also means that our level 3 first one, Pydra, is now also a combo starter, because while... Oh god, it works for both of them. Because you can either do normal Pydra, search opening, go to battle phase, activate opening, get Chudra, do the whole combos. Or you do Pydra, search Manor, activate Manor, swap a card out for Chudra, and then use its own effect to special summon itself out of the hand. Because if you control a Fire Dragon, you can special summon this. So both of those spells work with Pydra as a starter. See... That's wild. That's hecking wild off the top of my head here, because just the fact that you need to run so few of these to make the whole combo work and it just searches itself and they get to revive each other to do stuff is wacky. It's ridiculous. Especially if your deck has discard synergies, because now you get to run the Manor to enable those discard synergies. Oh, wow. Okay, additional reading here. Tenpai is a play on Tenpai, which is a tile short of winning in Mahjong. Comparatively, it's like declaring check in chess. Oh, okay, so it's just like we're on the finishing move. Sangen here refers to probably a play on Sangen Pai. 3 tiles representing a white, red, and green dragon that represents the 3 core Confucian values: filial piety, respect for your parents or elders; humane behavior, and a respect for ritual, i.e. doing things a certain way has a purpose, largely because of the way they've always been done, and it makes a society coherent or stuff like that. Okay. This is looking ridiculous. One second. Trident Dragion. Yu-Gi-Oh! Card database. Okay, what's the... So this is very... I don't know if I want to say very clearly, but yeah, this does appear to have synergy with regular Triton Dragion. 1 Dragon Tuner, 1 plus non-tuner Dragon monster, so the exact same material as the Synchros we're already working with. Must be Synchro Summoned and can be special summoned other ways. When this card is Synchro Summoned, you can target up to 2 other cards you control. Destroy those targets, and if you do, for each card destroyed, this card gains an additional attack during each battle phase of this turn. Okay, so this is actually the better target for our Manners effect. So we sync for this during the middle of our battle phase. We have all dragons, so we have no problem making this. We pop at least one. The one card that we pop is the field spell. We have the level 7 that can do that if we want to, but ideally we're popping it with Triton Dragion because that'll give us an additional attack, and then the field spell will double its attack power to 6,000, and as a double attacker, this card can make an additional attack, not attacks on monsters. So yes, this is our premier finisher. I believe it's safe to say that Transcend Dragion is meant to be our going first monster to give us some kind of play during their turn, and then Trident Dragion is what we play to actually close things out. Oh my god. And outside of the effect of... Which one limits our summons of monsters? Yeah, it's Rise Dragon, Biden Dragion. Limits us to only special summoning dragons for the rest of the turn, but we're already in the middle of the battle phase while we're doing this, ideally. So you wouldn't even care about the summoning restriction, because most of your stuff you're setting up in main phase 1, but that's the only restriction I can find out of all of these. Our spells don't do it. Our monsters barely do it. So you could run this in a lot of things. You can quick sync for... It looks like just about any level 7 Synchro monster during the battle phase. This can make Black Rose during the battle phase. There's no reason you can't do it. Wow, this archetype already has a lot going for it, to say nothing of the fact that it is made of dragons. So they can benefit from the entire wealth of dragon support that we've already had. You can play things like Dragon Shrine to send oh god, is Destrudo? I think Destrudo is legal again, right? If it is legal, that's going to be a big card in this deck, because you can just summon this for the battle phase, and now you have an additional monster on there to do your Synchro Summons with, because in all those combos we were talking about previously, we did have leftover Chudra and Fadras, and I must once again stress that those quick sync effects are not a hard once per turn. They are once per turn on them, but once they get removed from the field and resummoned, that counts as a whole different copy of the monster. Wow, okay, this is outrageous. So yeah, now my gut is usually pretty bad on this kind of stuff, so I don't want to sit here and say that we have seen the latest era of Yu-Gi-Oh. Despite everything, the field spell only keeps them unaffected until the battle phase, and while they get to do a lot of stuff during the battle phase, their big monsters do not seem to have anything. Oh, what am I kidding? The freaking Transcend Dragion literally does keep us from activating cards or effects during the battle phase. I guess it's going to be really important to keep your quick field spell removal on hand, folks, because you're going to need to deal with the mansion, or manor, as it is, so that you can deal with the monsters. It's not going to be enough that you just have monster removal, because overflowing Brightfleet Manor is going to say no to all of that. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. This is a contender for a top deck. I do believe that is the case. Especially because, like we said previously, this is potentially a very small engine. You kind of want to see as few copies of Fadra as possible. You want to summon that with Chudra, and Chudra can essentially hit the board because of Pydra. And because Pydra can search these other cards, you don't have to play very many of these copies, and then these live in your extra deck. I don't imagine you're playing more than a single copy of each. Yeah, this is humongous. Absolutely ridiculous. what decks could this be splashed in? Monodium is the first thing that comes to mind because it's a deck that does synchro stuff and has a variety of tuners, but I don't see any synergy with them outside of you have the access to do some quick synchro stuff, and then they're also a synchro-based deck. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of discussion going on about this right now online, so how about you let me know down in the comments? I want to hear all of your thoughts and ideas about what the Brightfleets, what the Bestowed Dragons can do, because I've got a feeling we're going to regret seeing these printed in about 6 months. This looks kind of outrageous. Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, please let me know your thoughts down below, and as always, I will see all of you next time. Bye-bye. Today's episode is brought to you by my lovely patrons, as well as the wonderful people over at Dragon Shield. Get the sleeves as strong as dragon scales, and save 5% on your order by using coupon code GoldenNova at checkout. Today's episode was also brought to you by my lovely patrons, including this month's illustrious Quasar Commanders Frankie and Marluxia is a Girl, Nebula Navigators 3rd Dynasty, Ada Basilisk, Adam Zajdel, Andrew Newman, Kane Senpai, Chibi Gohan, Christopher Fuss, Clockswork, Dark Dragon X830, Emily Chan, Eric, Aaron the World Breaker, Garland Chaos, Genesis Yu-Gi-Oh!, Green Knight, Great Big Pillock, Hairbear, Harry the Ominous Benefactor, Howling Zangetsu, Hydracraft 135, Iron Zero, Iskander 711, Mana Charge, Marion James E. Picata, Mega Combi, Millennia Asta, Muzuki Clark, Nathan Vig, Natiel Lee Alexander, Orozco 09096, Panther J, Rebel King Lucifer, Red Eyes Jackalow, RJ the Jank Monarch, Sammy Haim, Serenity Towns, Sir Knight JCB, Sim Antares, The Wizard Moose, URTV 667 and Xander Wolfensberger, Cosmic Crusaders Alpha Sly, Almento 5010, A Random Pup, Ariel Kersey, Beluga Masta, Blitzwolf, Blue Gem, Borger with a Shotgun, Chaz Ghost, Corbinisms, Danny Bound, Dr. Reaper RIP, Drachenwald, Eki Bullock, Eva Padilla, Hike Boyagian, Herbal D, Inblink, Jester Designs, Kale the Dragon, Carp, Kevon Public, King Scarlet Yu-Gi-Oh!, Lemon Yu-Gi-Oh!, Lord Whoop-De-Doo, Manga Pages, Matt Simmons, Mick Spoofy, Michael Shimabukuro, Mustafa Aiden, Nitromo, Shizuki Nijimura, Sophie, apparently, Stephen Williamson, Taylor Seymour, the legendary Raven, and Zaldreka, as well as the lovely Starlight Explorers you see on screen now. If you'd like to help me in my journey to cover all of Yu-Gi-Oh's archetypes, get my videos early, be a part of these credits, and many other awesome perks, it would mean the world to me if you checked out the link to my Patreon in the description or consider joining as a YouTube member.